Yo, what's going on, One Piece lovers? Finally, in today's video, we will talk about the latest chapter of One Piece. Let's kick things off in true One Piece fashion, with that delightful little window into the wider world, the cover page, for chapter 1148, titled Ronja, and we're treated to a genuinely sweet and somewhat melancholic scene. We see our favorite rebellious Oni, Yamato, finally bidding farewell to the wonderful folks of Wano, Tama, Speed, Raizo, and the loyal Komichio. There's a real sense of closure here, a passing of the torch perhaps. And what's this? It seems the formerly antagonistic duo, Ulti and Page One, have not only survived the Onigashima raid, but have seemingly pledged their allegiance to Yamato's. They've officially accepted her as their new lord, which is a fascinating development. Their expressions seem earnest, almost respectful, and their mission to deliver an Amigasa hat, that iconic braided hat, to the steadfast Kawamatsu all the way in Hakumai. It's these little moments of connection and character growth that truly make One Piece so special, don't you think? Alright, brace yourselves because the mood shifts dramatically as we turn our attention to the unfolding events on Branch 8. We are immediately thrown into a scene of palpable tension and genuine peril concerning a young giant named Ronja. This isn't your typical light-hearted One Piece fare. This is heavy. Ronja, poor Ronja, has been selected, chosen, perhaps in the most terrifying way imaginable. We see her forced to walk step by agonizing step along a narrow arrow precariously balanced over what appears to be a sheer drop, a dizzying expanse of nothingness that looks eerily like being above the clouds themselves. Her friend Yova looks on in utter alarm, his cries of concern echoing the dread we as readers are surely feeling. What makes this even more heart-wrenching is Ronja's reaction. Despite the obvious danger, despite her visible struggle, the text mentions she's having trouble breathing, which only amplifies the sense of her vulnerability. She tries to reassure Yova. She tells her friend that she'll be alright, a brave face in the face of the unknown. But then comes that chilling narration, that stark reminder of the stakes. Below her was the realm of the dead. Oda doesn't mince words here, does he? This isn't just a fall, it's potentially something far more final. It immediately makes you think of the sheer scale of giants, and the kind of impact a fall from that height would have. And that little aside, on that note, hopefully Luffy and Loki are still full from all that groggy Saurus. That way there's a chance of their falls being cushioned. Adds a touch of dark humor, a classic One Piece way of juxtaposing the absurd with the terrifying, but it also subtly reminds us that even our seemingly invincible heroes might find themselves in a similar precarious situation. What do you make of this ritual? Who is orchestrating this, and what is their ultimate goal? Is Ronja's optimism a sign of inner strength or a naive denial of the danger? Then the chapter started to focusing on the chilling mechanics of what seems to be a horrific sacrifice. We hear Gunko presumably reporting to some higher authority, informing someone named Summers that the first child was at the drop point. The description of Summers as a sadistic saint immediately paints a disturbing picture. This isn't some misguided zealot. This is someone who seems to derive pleasure from this cruelty. Summers' next action is even more unsettling. He demands that all of Elbaph be able to hear what is happening. This isn't just about the act itself. It's about public terror, about instilling fear and control. He then issues an ultimatum to Elder Jarul, a mere 30 seconds to make a decision. The weight of that countdown must be immense. The consequences of inaction are laid bare. Otherwise, the sacrifices would begin. Plural. This isn't just about Ronja, she's just the first. The implication is that there are more children, more innocent lives hanging in the balance. And the only way to stop this impending horror? For Elder Jarul to order the teachers. This cryptic phrase leaves us with so many questions. What teachers? What orders? What power do they hold? The tension is absolutely palpable. What do you predict Elder Jarul will do? Will he succumb to the pressure, or will he find a way to resist this sadistic saint? Shifting gears slightly, the transcription then delves into a fascinating meta-commentary on the nature of injuries within the world of One Piece, and perhaps shonen manga in general. It points out that losing an eye or an arm often feels like a free or safe injury. Think about it. So many iconic characters in One Piece and other series have these kinds of battle scars. The analysis suggests that these aren't necessarily debilitating injuries in this genre. In fact, they can often enhance a character's visual appeal, making them look cooler, and sometimes even leading to the acquisition of new powers or impressive prosthetics. Think of Shanks and his missing arm, or Fujitora and his blindness. These injuries haven't hindered them. In some ways, they've become part of their legendary status. This leads us to a truly intriguing question. As for the counter to immortality, is it really just a black blade? This is a huge question with potentially massive implications for the future of One Piece. If the key to overcoming immortality lies in the power of a black blade, then the significance of Zoro's ambition to forge the strongest black blade in the world takes on a whole new dimension. It wouldn't just be about personal strength, it could be the key to defeating some of the most formidable, potentially immortal adversaries the Straw Hats might face. This chapter then points out that if this is the case, it's a rather funny way of getting the crew to use haki. Think about Usopp, Brook, and Nami. All three wield weapons. Usopp with his slingshot and various projectiles, Brook with his sword, and Nami with her climb attack. Yet none of them currently utilize armament haki at a significant level, especially not in the way Zoro or even Sanji do. The idea that the ability to imbue their weapons with armament haki, perhaps even to the point of creating black blades, could be the key to countering immortality is a compelling one. It would provide a clear pathway for the weaker members of the crew to become crucial in high-stakes battles against seemingly invincible foes. And it's noted that Jinbei at least seems to be fully committed to overcoming that hurdle, implying he might be actively working on enhancing his haki. This could foreshadow his role in training or guiding the others. The observation about Zoro's fight on Egghead is also fascinating. He only directly clashed with Noose Juro, another swordsman among the Gorosei. Could this be more than just a coincidence? Could it be a hint that black blades, and by extension advanced armament haki, are particularly effective against certain types of powerful beings, perhaps even those with some form of immortality? Imagine Usopp forging a black kabuto, or Nami imbuing the climb attack with such potent haki that it becomes a black weapon capable of harming an immortal being. The possibilities are mind-blowing. What are your theories on this? Do you think black blades are indeed the key to countering immortality? And if so, how do you see the weaker members of the Straw Hats developing this ability? What are your biggest takeaways from chapter 1148? What are your predictions for Ronja and Elder Jarul? And what do you think about this potential weakness of immortality being a black blade? I want to hear all your thoughts. Dive down into the comment section below and let your theories run wild.